a chance to hear from Marina, and I'm going to hand over to my colleague Sharon, who's going to have a conversation with her. So over to you, Sharon and Marina.
Thank you, Mark, and good to see everyone. Marina, thank you for joining us. And I wanted to start off with a personal thank you, because as I have seen your discipleship, you continue to follow Jesus in really tough days. It has been a spur to me to keep following Jesus, and I want to thank you. I thank the Lord that he has equipped you and kept you going, but thank you for following him. And the same for your sister Anna, also part of the Langham preaching movement, and of course Sergei and many other Ukrainian brothers and sisters. We are so deeply challenged to watch your faithfulness in a situation you have not chosen, and so thank you for that. Well, similar to Sergei, maybe for those who don't know you, give a wee bit of a sense of where you're dialing in from and what you're involved with.
Yes, I'm Marina and I'm based in Kyiv. This is my favorite place in Ukraine. It is my home. And so when I was away at the beginning of the war, and I didn't know if I will come back, and I missed my home. So finally, when I came back home, I was so excited because I really love it. And you're very welcome when you come visit Ukraine, Kyiv. Yes, I am involved in Langham, and also I'm involved full-time in IFES, which is the name in Ukraine is SSH Ukraine. We are discipling Christian students and encourage them to share the gospel and make disciples at their universities. So basically, this is what I've been doing for more than 9 years. And from the start of the war, everything changed, and it was a challenge for many staff workers and students, because they had to leave their hometown, and they've been displaced themselves. But the work continues. So basically, this is what I continue to do even during the war.
Thanks, Marina. And we lament with you and we grieve with you, and we want to acknowledge that it's been really tough. Maybe you could share some of those particular sufferings that you've experienced, you and your family, your church family, and the students in SSH.
I think the suffering starts, first of all, from recognition that the life will never be the same as before the war. And this is about places of Ukraine, of cities, of friends that we visited, churches that we partnered with, pastors that we've been taught from. And also recognition that there is a separation in friendship with those who've been influenced by propaganda. The separation of family. My dad is in Germany now, and there is only me and sister in Kyiv. So basically, we are holding on together, and we are together in ministry. But there are so many people who are separated and who are displaced and scattered all over Ukraine and Europe. This is about the loss of certainty about the present and also the future, because as many Christians, I recognize when the war stops, there will be another phase, which will be not easier, and to take care of souls of many, and to rebuild the house is even much easier than to renovate the soul of the person. So, and as a Christian, I already faced that, so this is the lament over the life that was created and was given by God, and the lament of everything that we have, happiness or just an ability to live and enjoy the life and normally work, serve. So, and also in SSH, thankfully I haven't lost any relatives because of the war, but many colleagues of mine from SSH, they have their husbands fighting at the moment, and some relatives of theirs died. And 2 weeks ago, when we gathered, not only with staff workers, but also with students, we had the evening of prayer, and also we were writing the names on flags, the names of our relatives and friends who died because of the war. And it was heartbreaking just to see how many flags with names there were at the table. So we just prayed together, because it's really heartbreaking, and it will be a long process of renovation of soul, and God's work and healing in them.
Thank you, Marina. And I know you're just scraping the surface of how tough things have been. How have you clung to God in the midst of that? What scripture promises or habits have really encouraged you to keep following Jesus in this?
It was really hard not to harden the heart, because even as a Christian, I also lose lots of things. And it was really hard to read the news and to cry and to hear the news from my students who didn't have water or electricity in Mykolaiv and other cities, and I didn't know if I will hear from them. So it was really hard not to harden my heart, and the Psalm 77 helped me a lot, because I was focusing on the verse 11 till 14. It is said that I will remember the deeds of the Lord. At 12th verse, I will consider all your works and meditate on your mighty deeds. So just to focusing on what God already did in my life and in church and in ministry and in Ukraine was really helping me not to see everything in dark colors, but to be confirmed that Jesus is a light, that He will provide. It was really vitally important for me to remember to consider and meditate more on God than on news, disturbing the news that they were coming daily.
And such evidence of Christ's work in you, enabling you to trust and put your faith and hope in those passages in the midst of that. And so we thank Him just to see that evidence at work in your life, and no doubt many other believers in Ukraine. Now, if you're not following Marina's Instagram and you are into Instagram yourself, I would encourage you to do so, because Marina posts so many different aspects of how God is at work in their church family that she's part of and serving in, and also in SSH and the life of the students, what God is doing in the midst of this dark time. Marina, would you give us a bit of a flavor of that, of how you've seen God at work in both your local church, serving practically and spiritually, and in SSH?
Yes, I think it was July when I came back from England, where our temporary was. So when I came back, my sister Anna, she was in Ukraine by then. She said, "Marina, you need to come back ASAP. We have so many people, we have so many refugees, and we don't have enough of Christians. And basically, till now, we don't have enough of Christians." So when I came back, they already had the team already had their responsibilities, and they said, "We have many older people, we have many children, and somebody already takes care of them and does events for them, but we have nobody to work with the youth. Would you like to do that?" So I said yes. I didn't think, is it my spiritual gift or not? It's just another stage now. It's like whatever is needed to be done, we just do it. So I said yes. I didn't know what I was saying yes to, but we have about 25 people at the youth clubs every Saturday. There were some teenagers very traumatized. One girl in particular, Sonia, she was from Bucha. She was hiding in the basement, trying not to reveal herself, because Russian soldiers were raping and they were going from house to house, and so she was really scared. And for me, it was I prayed a lot, because I didn't have answers how to work with such traumatic people, because she was very reserved. She barely talked, but just to see gradually how God is doing his work is amazing. One guy from Mykolaiv became a Christian, and
Wow.
then he came back to Mykolaiv when everything became more safe. So he came back to the city, and now he shares the gospel with other teenagers. So this is amazing that we already see the fruits of like new missionaries. Yes. Yeah. So our church is growing, and for me it was very symbolic when there were severe blackouts and there were no lights. Our church was among first who got generators, and we had light. So it was very visual for many people who were going on the streets in the darkness to see the light from the church, literally.
Wow.
So they were going there, but they also got not only electricity or water, but they also got some message from and of hope. And so we shared not only humanitarian help with lights, but also we shared that Jesus is light, and we had very warming feedbacks that they've got not only literally light, but also hope and light of Jesus. So yeah, God is doing amazing things. Yeah, and
what about in SSH?
Yeah, and SSH we have retreat. So we started doing retreats for students beginning from summer. There were students who haven't been outside their city for a long time from the start of the war, because they didn't want to leave their old grandmothers, grandfathers. So for them just to go outside the city with to have electricity and water was a blessing to them. So we've been serving to Christian students, non-Christian students, and seeing also people coming to Christ, hearing the testimonies of Christian students who evacuated more than 500 people from Lysychansk area. So we have a student, Anna, who decided to stay there and to evacuate people, provide medicine with their team to people who were around. Basically, she came to Irpin now, and I mentor her and try to support her, even though she lost her home because she's from Lysychansk, which is occupied. She is forming a group of students in Irpin now, and is doing Bible studies. And this is one of encouraging moments to see that staff workers and students who've been displaced themselves start and pioneer something new, which grows pretty fast. So this is pretty exciting.
Wow, thank you. Thanks for giving us that snippet of the diaspora who are serving now across Ukraine. Just as we finish, Marina, how would you encourage us to pray for you and for all the different ministries you're part of?
Please pray for the war to start. It's always number one prayer point, because we are tired of war. We don't want people to die. Second, pray for churches, not only my church, but all the churches, because ministers, Christians, they get tired very fast because they work with people, with big multitudes. So pray for the churches to be light in the darkness. And please pray for wisdom and strength, that I would work with people who have traumatic experience. And this is just God brings me those people, and I want to serve them. I know I want to be the best help of.
Thank you, Marina. We stand with you in prayer, and we'll pray now as we head into our breakout rooms. We appreciate you sharing this with